So today I'm here with model and content creator Amaya Crichton.
Hi.
Amaya, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, I'm so happy to be here.
You know, we gotta have our tea.
Yes.
So we're gonna have some ginger tea today.
Ooh.
Yes. Put the tea bag in there.
I love ginger.
Me too. It's very healthy.
Yeah.
Don't drink it just yet because it's very, very hot. But yeah, it has truly been so inspiring to see you blossom into this self-confident, beautiful woman that you are today.
Yeah.
But I think that with your growing platform, a lot of people don't know just how intelligent and analytical you also are.
Yeah.
So today I want us to talk about a topic that we've had many intellectual conversations about, and that is beauty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Beauty is very important in our society. I think people try to downplay it, but it is.
It is.
And you've mentioned to me before that you feel like you can't perceive beauty.
Yeah.
So tell me about that and why you think that is.
Yeah, it's weird. Ever since like a young age, I feel like the typical notion of what people find beautiful has not been so like apparent to me. So like I kind of have to step back and like really try to understand what people mean. Like I've always said, like I'm not the person to ask like what's your best picture. Like I just like will be wrong. Like I don't know. I'm just not like I don't have the best eye for that. And but it's been interesting in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that, like I said, people try to act like beauty is not important.
Yeah.
But I can't help but wonder, should we all be more like you? And do you think that the fact that you can't perceive beauty has a bright side? Do you think that it makes you more capable of making real connections with people?
Yeah, I think to an extent it does, because I get a chance to meet someone and get to know them for who they are and how they treat me before I look at them as their beauty or what they, you know, what they look like. Like I look at what they bring to the table.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, women especially, base a lot of their friendships and their relationships on beauty.
Superficial,
and that's not right.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I know we all like are superficial to some extent. You know, it's the world we live in, and especially at our age, our generation. Yeah, but I think there has to be that before. There has to be that connection, that initial, you know, like it's really unhealthy to base everything off of the way things look.
Something so superficial.
It means nothing, really. Yeah.
But like you said, like it's what we're conditioned to do in a way.
Society has taught you from a young age that it matters.
Exactly. So and I think something that goes hand in hand with that is the idea that I've been seeing a lot on social media. Of pretty privilege, where essentially you get treated better in various circumstances solely because you're pretty, or what society deems as pretty, which I feel I have to mention because beauty is a social construct.
For sure.
Yeah. And like a lot of the ideas and judgments that we make about beauty, our perception of beauty is not our own at the end of the day. They're really based on these socially accepted physical traits and that are most often based in European beauty standards. Right. So I think that we really need to take that into account. Yeah. But back to pretty privilege. Yeah. I feel like that's really scary and detrimental.
No, there's even been stuff about like certain music artists. Yes. How like it's not about their talent, it's about they're cute, you know?
They look.
And it's like, guys.
I mean,
like music, you know?
I feel like it's true though sometimes.
No, like, I agree.
You agree?
Yeah,
okay,
I think it is. I think it is an issue.
Yes.
I think it's like
why are we not basing it on people's capability or on their intelligence? Because not only does it affect the way we perceive beauty socially, also professionally. Right. Like there are studies that show that your appearance has a direct correlation with the way you're received by others.
Job interview, whatever.
That's not normal.
Yeah, it's we've definitely taken it too far. I think where we've kind of lost the character that people have and the qualities that the skill set they have, the things that really matter. And we've kind of like taken it over with, well, are you cute though? Like, are you good to look at, you know? And it's like, it's sad. It really is.
It's very sad. And I'm glad you brought up the music industry. Yeah. Because one thing a lot of people talk about is the colorism that exists, like with the female rappers. I hear that like maybe some female rappers get more of a leg up because they have like lighter skin tones. Yeah. That's a thing. And then it's also just the way you look is a lot more important than the talent that you have nowadays. And I think that's also a really interesting conversation. Yeah. But I think that the solution to all this at the end of the day is acknowledgement. Like you told me, the first step is always acknowledging that there is an issue.
Right.
Because
This
is an issue.
Exactly.
It exists. It's real. And so I think that especially the people who benefit from pretty privilege need to be the main ones speaking against it.
Step forward and say like, hey, I know I'm getting treated better. I know I'm getting treated differently. It's not right. It's not fair.
Exactly.
She's more qualified than me or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's like, but I got the job.
Whatever you need to do.
Right. Yeah. And I think more than that too is people with that privilege kind of, you know, taking it upon themselves to show themselves to be more than just a pretty face, to show themselves to be hardworking and smart and kind and of good character, that they treat people good. And I think like the more that people with that privilege step forward and do that, the more that society will see them for more than just something superficial and as real people, you know? So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that we also need to understand where these perceptions of beauty are coming from. Because on the one hand, like I said, they come from these external influences, like beauty standards that have just been ingrained in us from a young age.
Literally like Western colonialism.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's crazy.
It's really sad and crazy that it still exists to this day.
Yeah.
But just as much how our individual experiences also shape our perception.
Yeah.
So for example, like you and I come from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
We have different physical appearances.
Yeah.
We have different lived experiences. And that can also shape the way we perceive beauty in ourselves and in others.
Yeah.
So how do you think that your perspective has shaped your perception?
Well, I will say I feel like beauty is very relative. And when I say that, I mean that like the environment that you're in really does have an impact on how you see beauty, kind of how you're saying. And so my experience with that is like growing up, I really was in like a predominantly white neighborhood, white school. And, you know, it's like, I just came to know it as, okay, well, Hannah with long blonde hair, all the boys have a crush on her. So she's beautiful, you know, and I want long hair, and like, I would straighten my hair, you know, every curly girl has that story. And like, it wasn't until like I got older and I started seeing representation of like people who look like me that were also beautiful. And, you know, like that I started to finally like, oh wait, like there's other types of beauty. And I think that's so important. Like that representation, like that's even with Disney, like finally doing that, like it's just so important because little girls need to see like there's more types of beauty than what this like really narrow standard has told us.
Exactly. Yeah. And in a way you need to reframe your mind. Yeah. Because like I said, those external influences can really get in your head and force you to see beauty in a way that is really not even your own judgment. Yeah. So like even my experience is kind of similar. Like I had to reframe that because I'm not the ideal beauty standard, but in a way I have to see myself as beautiful, and representation really helps. Yeah. But it's also a mind game.
It's internal.
It is. Yeah. It's something that you have to work out within yourself. Yeah. Because beauty is subjective. At the end of the day, we're in control of
who decides that? You know what I mean? Nobody but you.
Exactly. Yeah. We're in control of the narrative or of the meaning of beauty. Yeah. And another thing that I see a lot online is this whole idea of the female gaze versus the male gaze.
You know, I struggle with that one.
We talked about this. Yeah. Because I think it's really important for us to not see ourselves through the male gaze, the male lens, or at least stereotypically what it is.
I think the male lens is very limiting. Like I've learned that. I feel like it's literally like really like sex focused, you know, and it kind of just takes women as like a one-dimensional thing.
It places women in the context of male desire. Yeah. And
which is
like
so,
that's all we are.
There's so much more than that. I mean, it's art. Beauty is art. Beauty is a harmony of different details and so many things. And I feel like men tend to kind of just see it as like, oh, you know, she's hot or whatever. And I think, you know, to an extent, women will always want some level of like, you know, you want a man to be attracted to you. That's natural. Yeah. Okay. But I think, yes, there is a lot of benefit in being able to expand that and see yourself as beautiful to women, to everybody else, because it's just so much more than that.
It is. Yeah. And I think another reason why it's so detrimental for both men and women to be viewing women, perceiving our beauty, or perceiving beauty in general through the male gaze is because it perpetuates those same old beauty standards that we're trying to get away from. Right. So it's not, especially for young women, to be viewing themselves and viewing their friends and through the male lens,
Yeah.
I just think it's very dangerous, but it's also natural at the end of the day. It's what we're conditioned to do.
It's literally biological. You could literally say, like, it's our job being on this planet to, like, attract the opposite sex.
Exactly.
So it's like, you can't blame yourself for wanting a guy to think your picture's good. But it's like, when you do take that, like, active decision to say, hey, like, I know I'm more than that, it's definitely worth that.
Exactly.
Yeah, to do that.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, just like I said, the only way to rectify this is to acknowledge it. So we need to be aware of these things and aware that this is happening in the first place.
Yeah.
Because if we're not,
spark the conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for talking with me today
of
over
course.
tea.
Anytime.
I think this was a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be talked about more because I think people really brush around the subject.
Right.
Because beauty is a sensitive, everybody wants to be beautiful.
And beauty is so, I mean, it's like skin deep. Like, it's like, you know, we can talk all day about, you know, this is cute, this trend is cute, this is whatever. But it's like, in reality, like, beauty is energy and it's just so much more than that.
Yes.
So I feel like, I definitely think as a society, we could start seeing beauty for everything that it is and everything that it can be as beyond just, you know, a cute picture or whatever, you know. So
it's more than that.
One standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once we realize that these perceptions of beauty that we hold or these standards of beauty that we uphold and perpetuate are not a product of our own judgment at the end of the day, I think then we'll be able to open our minds.
Right.
And see more as beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today again.
Yes.
And we'll see you on the next episode of Over Tea.
Time. Thank you.
Cheers.